For all the controversies and developments that this year saw, we certainly weren't left wanting for some truly bizarre stories. They say truth is stranger than fiction, and we're more than a little inclined to agree when it comes to the gaming industry. So let's take a look at 15 of the weirdest gaming stories of this year. Justice Online player loses $1.4 million character. Last month, a player for NetEase's Justice Online sued the company and his friend. Why? Well, he had a character that was worth a whopping $1.4 million, and he gave it to his friend, who proceeded to sell it for just $552. Everything was settled by NetEase, who gave the character back, but the man in question had to pay $13,000 in damages to whomever purchased it online. Moral of the story? Well, there are a lot of morals to take away from this one, so take your pick. Keanu Reeves in Cyberpunk 2077. CD Projekt Red has some fairly big expectations for Cyberpunk 2077, but none of us really knew what to expect at E3 2019. The developer was attending, but what could it possibly showcase? The answer was Keanu Reeves, who appeared at the end of a new cinematic trailer at Microsoft's presser. But that wasn't enough. Reeves himself would appear on the stage, leading to the now famous "You're breathtaking" line in response to a fan. PlayStation music video plagiarizes animation. To hype up the holiday season, PlayStation released a music video which contained all of its biggest upcoming games for the coming months, along with some animated snippets. However, several people realized that the animation had been copied literally frame by frame from other works like Steven Universe the movie and FLCL. The trailer has since been removed from PlayStation Japan's channel, but was still completely out of left field. Stellaris mobile game cribs Halo art. Paradox Interactive took its fans by surprise, and not pleasantly, by announcing Stellaris Galaxy Command. The mobile version of the successful space grand strategy was met with some derision, and quickly turned into another case of blatant plagiarism when Halo artwork was discovered in-game. Paradox quickly pulled the game from stores, and there's no update on when it could return. Majora's Mask Test Room. The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask was first released in 2000 for the Nintendo 64, and has a fairly dedicated speedrunning community, much like other Zelda games. Interestingly, while experimenting with the glitch, it was discovered that players could warp into a test room which contains ladders, block puzzles, and more. While it's limited to the Japanese copies of the game, it's still crazy to think that such an area existed all this time and has only now just been discovered. Not Half-Life 3 confirmed. Did anyone ever think a new Half-Life title would ever release? That too, one that wasn't even Half-Life 3? How about if it was exclusive to VR and had Firewatch developer Campo Santo helping out? While Half-Life Alyx did create concern about whether consumers would hop on the VR bandwagon or not, Valve Index was quickly sold out up until Christmas, with owners receiving the game for free. Perhaps most important is the fact that the game will be releasing reasonably soon, March 2020 in fact. Fallout 76 Collector's Edition helmet contained mold. Another chapter in the Fallout 76 debacle was written when GameStop issued recalls for the Collector's Edition Power Armor helmet due to high levels of mold. This could mean respiratory infections, especially for those with compromised immune systems, damaged lungs, or an allergy to mold, according to the Consumer Product Safety Commission. While limited only to the GameStop exclusive red helmet, the incident did unintentionally reveal that only 32 out of the 20,000 helmets manufactured were actually sold. Metal Gear Solid, video game or US intelligence project. For all the wild theories that many of us may have for Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain and Chapter 3, nothing can beat Russian Deputy Defense Minister Andrei Kartopolov's claim that the series was a work of US intelligence. At a parliamentary roundtable, Kartopolov said it was one example of projects that were aimed at encouraging activist protest activity and dissatisfaction with the country's authorities among young people. How then do you think Death Stranding would be classified, we wonder? Nintendo Switch and JoyCon drift. Everyone who owns a Nintendo Switch probably loves it, but will also admit that it's not perfect. JoyCon drift, for example, was an issue reported by several consumers since launch. Surely it was just a few isolated incidents, right? Well, actually no. Nintendo started directing customer support teams to fix the errant Joy-Cons for free earlier this year. But such was the magnitude of the issue, affecting even the recent Switch Lite, that a class action lawsuit was put together consisting of 18 plaintiffs. Nintendo hasn't outright acknowledged the problem, but encouraged those facing problems to get in touch. Pierre Takis' arrest for drugs. Sega's Judgment released in December 2018 for Japan and seemed on track for its Western release. There was just one problem. Voice actor Pierre was arrested in March 2019 for admitting to drug use. Sales for the game were halted in Japan and Sega issued an apology, though eventually it would replace Takis' name and likeness for the Western release. Surprisingly, this isn't the first time that a Yakuza voice actor was replaced due to drug charges, as actor Hiroki Naramaya was dropped from Yakuza 4 for the same. Human Head shuts down, reforms under Bethesda. Before Arcane Studios' Prey would become a reality, developer Human Head Studios was working on Prey 2, the official sequel. It would eventually be cancelled amid rumors of sabotage from IP holder Bethesda. Human Head would go on to develop Rune 2, but shut down just a day after the game's launch. It turns out that the studio was hired by Bethesda to form Roundhouse Studios. Rune 2's publisher Ragnarok was blindsided by this and would file a lawsuit against the former Human Head Studios for refusing to provide code and assets for Rune 2 while becoming uncommunicative and unavailable weeks before launch. Curiouser and curiouser indeed. Silent Hill in real life. Rest in peace, PT and Silent Hills. While the latter could have had potentially changed the franchise for the better, it seems that the development team had some interesting ideas about how to scare fans. Apparently, the game would send emails and messages, written from the perspective of in-game characters, even if you weren't playing. Such features would require signing a waiver due to how much it crossed over into one's real life, though. Whether these ideas could emerge later or not, perhaps even in a future Kojima Productions title, remains to be seen. Super Smash Bros. Creator works with IV Drip. Japan is known for its work ethic, but Super Smash Bros. Creator Masahiro Sakurai took things to a ludicrous new level. At one point during development, the man suffered symptoms attributed to food poisoning. Sakurai revealed earlier this year that rather than check into a hospital, he got an IV drip and just went to work like normal. Considering all the controversy over crunch in development, Sakurai's statement caused fans to say unequivocally to just go to the hospital, gosh darn it. Sonic the Hedgehog's film design. No one really expected the Sonic the Hedgehog film to look good, but many were still appalled at just how terrible Sonic's design was. Even creator Yuji Naka commented on how weird everyone's favorite, or once favorite, hedgehog looked. In an unexpected move, the film was delayed to redesign Sonic, with his new look being recently revealed and receiving much more praise. The movie still looks terrible, but hey, what can you do? Half-Life 2's NPCs can blink again. Before Valve announced Half-Life Alyx for Valve Index, it released its first patch for Half-Life 2 in years and years. What did it change? Well, it actually fixed a bug that prevented NPCs from blinking. They're now capable of doing so, curing the worst case of potential dry eyes in video games in years. Lest you think this was a troll, Portal 2 also received an update with some substantial fixes and features. And that wraps it up. If you like what we're doing, please consider subscribing to our channel. We upload new videos daily. Also, don't forget to switch on the bell notification icon, that way you don't miss out on any of our videos.